For students on duty, it's like the meat samples kept in frozen supply stores waiting for distribution. Stay close to the dead bodies they're used to. Many mischievous boys and girls even joked around, getting into a few empty boxes to tease their friends and rookie students who were afraid to pee their pants, but after a while, ghosts and demons were nothing. Vu often shows up earlier than the two of you. Tonight too, Vu went to the morgue with only Uncle Hai, the security guard, struggling to clean. In the afternoon, just moved two unclaimed bodies. Half an hour later, there was a very young girl's body who jumped into the river to commit suicide. Her family background was unknown. The hospital had to send it to the morgue to wait for the state agency to track it down. Relatives of the dead. Standing the car in the corner of the room, who just had time to clean up the blanket on the bed next to the door of the freezing room, when the rain fell. Uncle Hai has asked permission to go to the cafe since Vu arrived. He took out the book and read it. The light from the 6-inch fluorescent lamp in the morning and in the morning because of the old wild rat made Vu very uncomfortable. He stacked his books and sat quietly at the table looking out into the dark outside. The rain was still heavy, and the wind blew through the bars of the door creating a whistling sound. The leaves of the trees outside in the yard rustle and sway in the wind, making it easy for the weak to imagine creepy, illusory images. Vu is not afraid of anything, but he also feels goosebumps. He pulled out a leather jacket to keep warm, and leaned back on the chair, dreaming of Ho Ai Thu. Although he and she did not speak any passionate love words on the surface, they both understood that each other's heart had engraved the other's image. They are all poor and all hope in the future with a doctor's degree. A social life will help them to rise and then they will get married. Unspeakable love is the most intense, blue love. Nak Vu is letting her soul drift into a wild paranoia. The wind blows the door open and slams against the wall. The guy woke up from a dream, startled to sit up, just when it was clear that after the flash of lightning, Vu looked as clear as day. A white shadow standing in front of him slowly walked through the door and stopped just 2 meters from where Vu was sitting. The white glossy face that appeared clearly was a beautiful young girl with a brain like an Arabian woman in a mythical movie. With jet black hair that fell almost to her heels, water was clearly dripping onto the tiled floor. The girl's eyes were big and black, with a hint of melancholy, staring at Vu, giving him a strange feeling of dread. Vu suddenly shivered and stood up. Before he could speak, the girl suddenly spoke first. Is this the city morgue?" Vu gulped down the foam in his mouth, stammering. Right, miss. The girl giggled and took a few steps closer to Vu. He thought that the cold wind rushed in and shivered, so he quickly retreated a few steps. The girl's innocent laugh sounded louder. "Older brother. Scared, huh? I'm not a bad person," said the girl while stomping her feet. Wu regained his composure. Youth pride emerged. He also burst out laughing, making excuses. "You're wrong. I'm not afraid of a flat person like you." But her sudden presence in the middle of the rain, especially at this morgue, surprised me a lot. The girl smiled and glanced around the room. As if understanding the girl's apprehension, Nak Vu reassured. She stopped shyly. "My shiftmates are little surprised coming too. Perhaps because of the sudden rain, they were a bit late." The girl was not confused at all. Her lips still had a bright smile like flowers. "You are wrong, I am alone, so there is nothing to be afraid of. I was just a little surprised." "What are you surprised by?" "Alone in a place full of ghosts and not afraid?" "Ma. Ha ha. Ma is afraid of me." "If ghosts are not afraid of you and come to you, what do you think?" "You're joking." "I'm not joking, I'm asking. If possible, I will answer the truth. Ghost is ghost. Ma is also a person who has nothing to fear. Even if she were a ghost, I am more than happy and delighted to meet her." "Ghost? Sorry, I don't. Must be a ghost. So will you accept me?" "Of course, go ahead. Talk like this, you can believe it." They looked at each other and exchanged sympathetic, amused smiles. Nak Vu suddenly remembered that the girl was drenched in rain water. He looked up at the white-out dye that was clinging to the skin, revealing the pinkish-white skin and the most attractive features of the girl. Meeting the boy's fiery gaze, the girl naturally blushed, lowered her face shyly, and asked softly, "Older brother, what are you looking at?" Nak Vu suddenly woke up with passion. He was embarrassed, hesitating to correct his shame. Please forgive me. I'm embarrassed when I realize you're wet like this and don't know what to do. Or maybe you should just use my blanket to keep cool." The girl blinked in emotion, but still gently refused. "Thank you for your kindness, Quinn. It's okay. A moment of wind will help Quinn feel comfortable right away." She suddenly pouted her lips. "Quinn. Name already. And what are you? Doctor or student intern?" "Sorry Quinn. Never mind, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Vu, a student at the morgue today. Quinn told me to come here on a rainy night. This wind. Well, I guessed it. Quinn is Min Sao's friend, right?" Quinn looked at Vu without blinking. "Who is Min Cao, Mr. Vu?" "Oh, so you're not Min Sao's friend? So what is Quinn looking for in this place where everyone is afraid?" Quinn laughed loudly, naturally, as if he did not hear what Vu had just asked. "There's nothing to fear here. Didn't you say that humans and ghosts are the same before? Therefore, Quinn went to find ghosts. Do you believe?" Nak Vu looked at Quinn intently. He was completely taken aback by the girl's indifference and thoughtful reply. Vu tried to create a smile so that the girl would not doubt and ask, "Believe me, I believe too much." However, the fact that she went to find ghosts was like a baton. Quinn laughed even harder. She did not wait for Vu to ask any more questions, calmly walked over to sit on the bed and looked directly into Vu's face. She was explaining. "If the dead are not ghosts, then what else, Mr. Vu? Quinn has a sister who died this morning. It is said that because there were no relatives, the hospital moved to the morgue. When she heard that Quinn rushed to the hospital room to ask for help, she was directed to come down here, just in time for the rain to fall. Luckily, I asked him to let me in. You got it. Right? That's it. Now you give. Can I meet my sister?" "Of course. But wait for Quinn." "Why wait, Mr. Vu?" "Because the security guard holds the key. He went to drink coffee outside the shop, he was stuck in the rain and would come back soon. Please wait." The girl's face was naturally red, her eyes were shy and suddenly looked up at Vu, smiling seductively. Quinn asked softly, "It must be sad to be here alone in the middle of a rainy day, isn't it?" "Why do you ask me that?" "Because I love you, and suddenly like to sit here and talk to you in this poetic, romantic setting. Mr. Vu, allow me to ask one thing." "Guess, don't blame me." Quinn just ask, I will answer if possible. "Do you have a lover yet?" "If there." "Sorry. If I confess that no one has paid any attention to a poor ass like me, then I'm happy to be your girlfriend." Nak Vu looked up and looked deeply into the girl's eyes, but he couldn't find anything more joking or teasing than sincerity. "You naturally have ideas. If only I could kiss her eyes, how nice it would be." At that moment, Quinn seemed to follow Vu's thought. She suddenly shouted and jumped into the student's lap. "Oh! Mr. Vu! I'm so scared. Want to save me?" The girl's cool skin made Vu feel strangely excited, but at the same time, he also discovered that the cold like ice was spreading through his body. Nak Vu still hugged the girl tightly, whispering in her ear. "Quinn." There was something that scared her. Quinn opened her big eyes like two long beads looking at Nak Vu. No chest rising and falling through the white fabric makes Vu strangely excited. The more estrus rose up. Without waiting for Quinn to explain, Vu leaned down to kiss her passionately. After a while, the two lay on the bed. Vu unbuttoned Quin's dye. But she took him by the hand, and urged sulkily and reproachfully. "No, I don't want you to underestimate my dignity. Vu, I beg you." Vu still stubbornly leaned forward, pressed her body close to Quin's chest, kissed her passionately to suddenly feel the sweetness as if overflowing all over her lips that he had never met where another girl had kissed his lips before. Vu wrapped his arms around Quin's small body and asked softly, "Hey Quin, do you love anyone?" Quin gently pushed Vu's face away, blinking with tears in her eyes, her voice reproached and embarrassed. "What's so unreasonable?" he asked. "If you love someone, why are you lying next to me like this? Are you underestimating me?" "Oh. Not at all. I'm sorry. Quin, don't be mad at me. I am not angry, but very sad. I don't know why I'm so easy for a guy I just met to hug me. Come on, let me sit up. It would be a shame if the security guard came back." "But Quin, you already love me." Quin put a finger on Vu's lips and cooed. "Lies all the time, I don't trust young men today. What's so easy and quick to fall in love with? We just met, know who they are, and already say they love them. I'm broken, I'm not deceived by you." "No, you're telling the truth. I fell in love with Quin as soon as I came here. If I were and skin was ghost, would you love me?" "I love you too." Nak Vu replied curtly and then leaned down to kiss the girl's face like a madman, although sometimes he felt as if Quin's skin was cold as ice, but in the midst of the excitement, Nak Vu quickly abandoned the thought that came to him. He slowly unbuttoned Quin's shirt. She was only wearing a cardigan, so Vu only needed to pull it down, and in front of his eyes, two round breasts protruded like a mountain top. He put his mouth on one of her breasts and kissed her tenderly. He sucked on Quin's nipple passionately, while Quin groaned and groaned. Eyes closed in fascination. But when Nak Vu greedily pulled down Quin's pants, she panicked and held his hand. "You can't, man." Nak Vu was in love with him even though he didn't need to hear anything Quin said anymore. He put his foot across Quin's belly and hugged her tightly, not letting her move, his hand still pulling down from the knee. Nak Vu reached down to squeeze continuously on the girl's back. He suddenly looked up and saw that Quin was in tears. He raised his hand and wiped his tears. "I'm sorry Quin. Why'd you treat Quin like that?" "Older brother. It's because I love you too much. You can't bully Quin anymore." She put her hands down on her ass and pulled her pants up while Nak Vu's eyes still didn't leave the lovely Mew, but her heart was full of regret. Because of his high desire for other things, he tried to forcefully put his palm on the table. Hands tucked into the high pubic of the girl. Nak Vu looked at her passionately and said, "Quin, I love you." She sat up, straightened her corset and buttoned her tunic with a solemn face. "Quin wants to ask you something." "What's up?" "I'll just say it. Before I say it, I want to do something as a thank you." Nak Vu still did not understand what Quin wanted to say. While still wondering, she continued, "Mr. Vu, please lie down." Nak Vu still did not understand what would happen, but then he obeyed Quin and lay down. Quin sat close to where he lay and continued, "Close your eyes." Nak Vu slowly closed his eyes. He was panicking and worried, when he noticed that the zipper of his pants was slowly pulling down and it felt like his cock was lying outside the pants door. Nak Vu's cock is currently in a state of stagnation. His heart is pounding, even though he thinks about it, he doesn't dare to open my eyes. I can only lie down and bear the battle, come wherever I go. It didn't take long for him to notice that Quin's hand seemed to be holding his cock's skin and moving it up and down. He wondered why Quin did that, and what he meant. Quin put her hand behind her hair and then slowly opened her mouth to embrace Nak Vu's cock. He could feel the lines of her tongue squeezing his dick, just like every button. The squeaking of her mouth sounded, only Nak Vu noticed that her cock was a bit cold. Each time faster, and bolder. Nak Vu's cock is now hard and stiff. He bends up to enjoy, his mouth flutters. Quinn. You're dead, Quinn. So happy. It's over. Go deeper, Quinn. I'm so happy, Quinn. Before long, drops of semen began to shoot out from Nakvu's cock. He clearly noticed that Quinn was sucking, and swallowing all his semen. The girl suddenly stood up, she raised her hand to wipe her mouth, quickly lowered her face and walked towards the door. Nakvu sat up, he yelled and tried to keep the girl. But a flash of lightning suddenly flashed, and then there was a loud rumbling of thunder. He only heard a few clear voices. Mr. Vu. Help me. Mr. Vu. Help Quinn. Don't go, baby, lightning is dangerous, don't move me. Quinn. But the girl quickly disappeared into the dark night. Nakvu rushed to follow, but could no longer keep up. Just in time, the door slammed into the door with a loud bang. At the same time, Vu felt like someone was hitting his shoulder hard. He startled awake, bewildered to find himself lying on the bed, next to Min Kao and Hai Yin standing staring at him. Vu, did you just dream about a beautiful woman named Quinn that screamed like that? Nakvu sat up, bewilderedly rubbed his eyes, looked at Hai Yin and then looked at Min Kao. It was strange for him to know that he had just had a strange dream. Even more strange when he saw Hai Yin wearing the same clothes as the girl. He skeptically asked his girlfriend. See, Oaks. Are you making fun of me just now? Older brother. Say what? Yin did not understand what he wanted to ask Yin. Hi. You and Hai Yin, who came here first. Tao. So what? You seem to have lost your soul, Vu. Nakvu quietly stood up and went to the door to look outside. The rain has stopped ever since. He turned to look at the two of you, plopping down on the chair in awe. Hai Yin and Min Kao have finished making their own beds. The two looked at each other and then went to Vu's side, embarrassed. Hai Yin could not prolong her silence and wonder any longer. She put a hand on your shoulder, softening her voice. Mr. Vu, you tell Yin and Mr. Kao. What just happened to you? Did you just have a nightmare? Or not? I never had nightmares. Hai Yin, you say go. Did you just try to see if I'm afraid of ghosts? Min Kao believes that Vu is not lying, but that his friend is suffering from a real nervous breakdown, so he hastily divided and defended Hai Yin. What is this shocked case, Vu? However, I insist that Hai Yin comes after me. And she never joked or challenged this at all. Nakvu looked deeply at Hai Yin. The white long dress Hai Yin was wearing was exactly the same as the girl who had just bounced to Vu. The only difference is that Hai Yin is shorter than Quinn, 1'8", 1'10". How can Vu understand his physique, steps and hair? The face, that's right, it's just that. He sat like a lost soul, muttering meaninglessly. Quinn, Yin. Yin, Quinn. Probably. Just as the sound of human footsteps emerged in the yard of the morgue, Uncle Hai came in. His eyes were dull and tired, and his mouth released a strong smell of alcohol. This is even more strange to the students on duty. Previously, Uncle Hai used to drink alcohol even though a small glass of friends forced him to drink it for fun. Min Kao led him back to his own bed and asked. Uncle Hai is drunk tonight, the sky must be falling. Ha ha. I'm not drunk. Uncle. I can't say that I'm drunk. I'm very sad. Nakvu is bewildered, fluctuating, has not found a solution to the mysterious problem that has happened to her. Now adding Uncle Hai, a drunken security guard, is getting more and more confused in his mind. He walked over and held the guard's hand, listening to the pulse. The pulse seemed to be fast and disordered. He sat on the edge of the bed and asked. Uncle Hai. Did something happen that made you so sad that you had to get drunk? Uncle Hai waved his hand. What happened, Strawberry? But I don't have a dick either. I met her a while ago. She said she wanted to treat me to coffee. I found her strange, so I declined, but she still invited me. I drank half a glass and it was already too much. Then I was exhausted. As long as you look back at her neck, she's lost. Asking Sister Sal, the owner of the shop just laughed at my hometown drinking coffee but getting drunk. There is no girl in the cafe to invite anything. I was too scared to ask Sister Sal to pay and then leave. It's weird like this. My mind is spinning, my eyes are dizzy like drunk. I swear I'll lie to you to hurt me. It is true that the girl who invited me to drink coffee did not drink like that. What is drunk?